Hello YouTube viewers, welcome back to my channel. Street Tips here. Part 2 of the filters and paper storage, recovery, and refining process. Let's get right to it. Here we go. It is the following morning. I'm going to pull this down here now and grab a sample of this solution. Put it in a small beaker here. I'm going to test to see if we have any silver in this solution. As you can see, it's quite clear. Put some hydrochloric acid in here now. Let's see if we got silver in here. Ooh, yes, we do. Quite a bit of it. Wow, I didn't expect that. There's a whole ton of it in there. Look at that. It almost became a solid piece when I poured that hydrochloric acid in there. So we got a bunch of silver in this solution. I'm using a vacuum bottle here to draw that liquid off of the solids rather than trying to pour it off to risk upsetting the solids in the beaker. In this shot, I'm using a fine tipped draw tube so that I can get every drop of liquid out of the beaker there without disturbing the solids. And this next sequence right here is speeded up 2 times normal speed. Alright, I've got the solution extracted off of our material here. This is going to have silver in it, lots of it, as you can see by that test that I did with the hydrochloric acid here. I've got a large 24 centimeter piece of filter paper here. What we're going to do is make a custom fit filter to go inside of my funnel here. And if you look, you'll notice that this filter fits down into this one nicely. So what I'll do is I'm going to use this funnel as a pattern to make a custom fit filter that will fit down inside of this large 12.5 centimeter Buckner funnel. Take this funnel away, take our custom piece of filter paper here, fit it down into our 12.5 centimeter Buckner funnel. And what this will do for us is this will prevent any of the solid material that we're getting ready to filter out of our beaker from bypassing that filter and getting down into the funnel. Okay, I've got my vacuum running over there. Got a little rubber seal here. Goes in the 2-liter flask. I've got my Buckner funnel with my specially fit filter in it. I'm gonna connect the vacuum to it. Now we want to make sure that the filter paper is sealed up real nice in here. Adding some distilled water to it to make it seal up. I'm starting to pull a vacuum over there. Alright, we're going to add the solids here to this funnel, and we're going to try to rinse out all of the silver solution that we can out of here with some distilled water. boiling distilled water here. And what we're going to do is try to use this boiling distilled water to rinse most of the dissolved silver from our solids in this Buckner funnel. Right, well, I'm adding this boiling distilled water here, kind of using my glass rod to carefully stir the material. I don't want to break the filter paper and allow my material down into the filtrate down the bottom down there in the flask. So I'm just kind of barely stirring this, trying to move it around so we can get this silver rinsed out of these solids carefully. Okay, now while I've got some water still coming out of the funnel, I'm going to trade flasks here. And what we'll do is we'll take our flask out of this, or our funnel out of this flask. I can do that. What I'm trying to do here is get a sample of the water coming out of the funnel so we can check it, see if it's got any silver chloride in it. So I'm just going to draw a little bit of the water down into this flask down here. You see that a little bit of water is being drawn off of the material out of the Buckner funnel here into this flask. Now that I've got that, I'm going to put this flask, or this funnel, back in the original flask up here up top, and we'll save this and get a test on it, see if we got a bunch of silver in that rinsed water. And if we do, we know we've got some more rinsing to do to get all of this all the silver off of this material here. So now we'll test this, see if we got some silver in it. Alright, I'm going to add a little bit more hot distilled water to this. It won't hurt a thing. Just going to get that vacuum to shut off over there. Now what we want to do, I'm going to take a little of this rinsed water here in this flask that we just drew off, add it to this little beaker, and now I'm going to add some hydrochloric acid here. Let's see if we got a bunch of silver in there. Oh wow, look at that, man. Still got a whole ton of silver that needs to be rinsed out of there. It's going to be way more silver here than I thought there would be. Okay, I'm going to continue to rinse this, but before I do, I'm going to trade out the flasks here because I don't want to run the risk of breaking the filter paper and allowing my particulate out of here to get down into this filtrate that I've already pulled through the filter there. So we're going to continue to rinse our material here, but I'm going to do it in a different flask. Okay, here we go. More distilled water, hot distilled water going into our solids here. Trying to get all the silver rinsed out. While I'm waiting for this rinse water to pull through the funnel here, what I'm going to do is gather up all the silver solutions that we've extracted so far. Add them to this beaker. This is the rinse water that we tested for silver. I'm going to add that to this beaker here. Next, I'm going to add the solution that we pulled through the filter. This is going to be full of silver. I'm going to add this to our beaker here. Trying to work around the camera here. That solution's going to have silver in it. And then last but not least, we're going to add the silver from the jar back here in the back that we drew off in the beginning when we started this process. Add that silver now to this beaker. Here I've drawn off a little bit of rinse water in that small flask, and then I reinstall the funnel on the main flask and continue to rinse the solids in that funnel. Now I got a fresh beaker here. Take some of this rinse water that we just drew off. A little bit of hydrochloric acid to it now. Let's see where our silver situation stands here. It's getting better. That's not very much silver there at all compared to what we were getting with the first two tests, but it's still quite a bit. So we'll just keep rinsing. Got a piece of filter paper here. Gonna dip it in our solution back here. We're going to do a Stannous chloride test. See if we got anything else other than silver in our solution. And that Stannous test, I don't see anything else. Pour this last rinse water off into this beaker that we're using to store the silver solutions. And what I'm going to do is get another quick sample here. Lauric acid test of this rinse water. And finally, that's a little bit of stuff in there, but I think we'll be okay. We're going to go with it. We're going to put this in aqua regia now and try to dissolve out the precious metals out of our solids. All right, here we go. We're going to put the solids up here in this 4-liter beaker now. go. We got a little bit of dirt in the funnel there, but not much. We got a little bit of hydrochloric acid going in here on top of the solids. Filled that up to about the 1 milliliter level. Now I'm going to add a little bit of nitric acid here to form aqua regia in there. And we'll start extracting the precious metals, if any, out of our solids from the burnt filters. Put this up on the heat. And let this cook. Material has been on boiling in aqua regia now for about really 5 minutes. Reach down in there and get a little bit on a piece of filter paper here. Put some Stannous chloride testing solution. And bang, we got a nice black stain, which tells us that we've got gold going in the solution. Just a little past 5:30 p.m. I started this about an hour and a half ago, around 4 or so. I'm going to add a little bit more hydrochloric acid here. Dilute it a little bit with some still water that I added. Just a little bit more there. Now I'm going to add this to our solids here. The beaker real slow. Okay. We'll reach in there and give it a stir. Cook it a little bit longer, and then I'm going to take it down off the heat, let it cool off, get some of that liquid out of there, and see how much gold we got. While I'm waiting for the precious metals to digest out of our solids, what I'm going to do here is add some pieces of copper down into this solution here. This was the nitric acid digestions from the solids before we went to the aqua regia. This is the rinse water that contains some silver. And what I'm going to do, I decided to cement the metals out on copper here. Let's see what happens. Let's stick this in. And we're getting some silver forming right away on it. But I'm going to use cement the metals out on copper here. The reason I'm doing that is because these filters are probably going to have some base metals, some copper, some tin, some lead, some zinc. And so if I added hydrochloric acid to make silver chloride here, those metals would form their chlorides as well. So in order to avoid doing that, putting copper in here, because in accordance with the reactivity series of metals, copper will only cement out metals below copper, such as silver, gold, and platinum group metals. Any tin, lead, zinc, or other metals that are in this solution will not cement out on the copper. They will stay in solution in accordance with the reactivity series of metals. And as you can see, the copper or the silver starting to come out of solution on the copper here. So we're We're going to use copper to cement the precious metals out of our silver solutions here. I'll pour this rinse water in as well. We'll get this reaction going.
Time is about 10 minutes after 6, so we've been going here about an hour and 40 minutes. What I'm going to do is, we got our silver cementing out back here nicely, and I'm going to pull the gold solution that we're dissolving here down off the heat. We'll let this cool down, and then we're going to filter that solution from the solids and see what kind of gold concentration we got out of that solution. All right, I just wanted to take a look at this silver coming out of solution on this copper here. There's a lot more silver back here than I thought there was going to be, and I don't know how much that's going to be, but it's a heck of a lot more than I thought it was going to be. All right, we're going to put the solution's cooled off. It's probably about 100 degrees or so. And what I'm going to do here is get set up with a filter similar to the same rig that we had earlier, with a special fitted filter paper in here. And what we're going to do is filter the gold solution away from those solids now. Right, I've got my filter paper in here. Put some water in to get it to seal up real good. And once we start pulling a vacuum, which we are, I'm going to take our gold solution from over here, and we're going to pour it through the filter and try to draw some gold off of here. Precipitate it out. Here we go. Pulled through the filter. I'm going to add a little bit of hydrochloric acid here to try to push a little bit of the gold solution out of these solids. Gold solution pulled through these solids here. I'm going to remove this funnel now. Over here to a temporary container. And now what we'll do is we're going to transfer our gold bearing solution here into a beaker, and we're going to precipitate out the pure gold from this solution here. It's a dirty solution. That's okay, we're not refining yet. This is still the recovery phase. filter paper here. We dip it in our solution. We're going to do a Stannous chloride test. And as you can see, we've got a pregnant solution. Okay, here we go. We're going to precipitate the pure gold with sodium metabisulfite. Let's do another Stannous test here right quick. Looks like we still got a little bit of a dark stain there. So I'm going to add a little bit more sodium metabisulfite. See if we can get the rest of the gold to come out of solution. Here we go. We're going to add some more sodium metabisulfite. See if we can get all the metal to drop out of solution here. Let's see what we got going on down in the bottom down there. Can't really see it very well. I do see some gold down there in the very bottom, but since this solution is so dirty, can't really see what's going on down there as far as the amount of gold that's dropping out of solution. We're just going to have to let this settle out. Still got a very dirty solution here. It's been allowed to settle for about 30 minutes. Another Stannous test here. Let's see exactly what we've got left in solution. That's looking orange to me. And a little bit of brown. I think that's platinum and palladium in solution. All right, I'm going to pour off our solution here into this temporary container. See what kind of material we got left down at the bottom of this beaker. It will be our gold. Going to be our gold. We're going to get this into a filter now, and we're going to melt that into a butt and see what kind of yield we got. Now I've got me a little filter set up here. I'll move this solution. This is going to contain platinum group metals, so I'll add this to my stock pot when I get some room in it, plus a little bit of gold will probably settle out of this solution overnight. And now what we'll do is we're going to get the gold that we recovered in our big beaker here down into this filter.
Now we're gonna put it under a flame. I'm gonna add some borax to it. Turn some flame on and melt this gold up into a button. Here's our button of pure gold. It's not high purity. It'll need to be repurified with another refining, but at least we can calculate a yield now. Looks like 6.5 grams. 6.6 grams of pure gold from our filters. Okay, let's get this silver up in front here. Take a look at this. There's way more silver than I expected out of this material. That's the pieces of copper here. I'm going to take those out. Set those off to the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour off this solution into this container over here. It's got some copper in it, and I'm going to try to get the silver out of this jar here and into a filter paper so we can melt it up and see what kind of yield we got as far as silver goes here. Pour this waste solution in here just to cement out any more precious metals that this solution may contain. Back out of the way here. And I've got a filter flask. And now we're going to try to get our silver into
filter flask. See if we can coax it in here without breaking stuff. Silver sponge. Thankfully, the silver cooperated nicely there. Allowed me to get it down into the filter there easily. I'm going to rinse our silver sponge here with a little bit of distilled water. Okay, here we go. We're going to put this silver into a melt brush here. Quite a bit of silver there. I don't know if I'm going to get it all to fit this thing. There's a whole heck of a lot more silver here than I thought I was going to see out of this. I guess our scrap from those filters was mostly silver. Silver wet like this is the fact that it will not blow out of the container there, out of the melt dish as it melts because it's wet.
Okay, here's our little button of silver. I'm going to put it in some distilled water here on some heat. I'm going to add a little bit of sulfuric acid here and try to dissolve off that little bit of flux that's on there. All right, here's our piece of silver. I've got all the flux off of it now. I'm gonna take it over here and rinse it off. Some hot tap water here. And that is our piece of silver. Probably about 99% pure. Okay, here we go. We're going to stamp 3 tips on this piece of silver. Here's our piece of silver. Cement silver out of the filter recovery. And let's see what kind of weight we got on it here. 81.6 grams. That's 2.6 troy ounces of 99% pure silver out of those filters. Now let's see what this gold weighs here. Gold button. 6.5. It's jumping back and forth between 6.5 and 6.6. That's just under a quarter troy ounce of gold. About 99% pure. Conclusion, this waste solution here from the gold refining process will have a little bit of gold that will settle out, a couple of tenths maybe, but there's also some platinum group metals in there. I'll add that to my stock pot. This solution here is part of the silver solution that I filtered off from the silver that I just got done melting. And down here you'll notice that I still have some silver cementing out of that solution that I poured off in there. So I'll probably get another ½ ounce or so of silver out of these solutions. And then up here, this is the cake that had the solids in it. I only did a single extraction. What I'll do is I'll boil this again in aqua regia, do another extraction, maybe get a gram or a gram and a half of gold out of that cake. Okay, this will wrap it up for the filter paper recovery and refining video. I got me a nice chunk of silver here, 2.5 troy ounces, just about, and then a piece of gold here, 6.5 grams of 99% pure gold, and I stamped 3 tips on the silver here. And what we'll do is we'll list this on my eBay store, put it up for bids. I'll probably do a separate refining video where I repurify this piece of gold before we try to sell it, and just a little bit about the process that we did here. I've still got some, oh, there's the back of the piece of silver, by the way. It looks like the moon. Out in the shop out there, I've still got some silver cementing out on copper. There's still silver coming out of solution, out of the silver solution that we got this out of. So we didn't get 100% of the silver out of that solution. Also, the waste solution that we poured off from the gold is going to have a couple of tenths of pure gold that will settle out, and I'll just add that to my stock pot along with the platinum group metals that are in that waste. That'll go into my stock pot. And then what else do I got out there? I guess that's it. Oh no, the cake, we only did a single extraction of the solids. So that cake that's in that Buckner funnel out there, I'll do another extraction and probably pull another gram, maybe gram and a half of pure gold out of those solids. They're still in there. And then what I'll do is once I get that gold out, I'll add the cake to my new filter paper storage bucket for the next time that I do these refinings of these papers. All right. This will conclude the video. Thanks for watching.